Let's get more on Israel's war in Lebanon. The Israeli military has told people living on the South Lebanese coast to evacuate. The order comes after an Israeli airstrike on the coastal city of Tyre. Beirut, southern suburb of Dahir, has come under some of the most intense bombardment. Israeli forces say they're carrying out targeted operations against Hezbollah. The attacks have so far killed at least 2,071 people in Lebanon. Let's bring in Dorsa Jabari. She's joining us live from Beirut. Dorsa, firstly, what are you hearing about these evacuation orders on the southern coast?
Well, for the first time, the Israeli military is issuing a warning to anybody who is near the coastline from the Awali River southwards. That river is about 30 kilometers from the Lebanese capital. Along the coastline of the country, they need to evacuate and stay away as soon as possible. Now, this comes as we understand intense fighting continues in the southern town of Naqoura along the southwestern part of Lebanon. This is the first time the coastline of the country is now getting any kind of a warning from the Israeli military. And it essentially means that a third of the Lebanese coastline is now off limits to people and residents. It's not clear where these people are supposed to go, but what is clear is that the Israeli military is expanding its targets. It says that it's going to be hitting Hezbollah interests along the coastline. This is also now comes as Israel has essentially got an air campaign being waged against what it says are Hezbollah targets across Lebanon, as well as now what they say is a limited ground operation inside Lebanese territory since they launched that on October 1st. What I want to add is on the ground forces, they have also added another division of Israeli military forces. So they're clearly increasing their presence on the ground when it comes to their, what they say is a limited targeted ground operation inside Lebanon. What is clear is that they are now expanding this operation day by day, and we're seeing that as we move forward with these continued warning and limitation for civilian population to move within the country.
And also, when you talk about how people, it's not clear where people can go, we have seen so many people coming to the capital, Beirut, and at the same time, continuing strikes on the southern suburb of Dahir.
That's right. Just in the past hour, we heard at least 5 consecutive airstrikes in the southern suburb of the capital being carried out. There were no warnings issued. There were no evacuation orders issued this time. And these airstrikes continued in the backdrop of us seeing airplanes landing at Rafik Hariri International Airport, which is very close to the southern suburbs. So clearly, this situation continues to be very, very serious and dangerous, not only for the civilian population that continue to remain in the suburb of Beirut, which was once home to about 700,000 people, but also the international airport that is continuing to still remain open despite the dangers that it faces on a daily basis.
Dorsa, thank you very much for that. That is Dorsa Jabari with all the latest. She's joining us live from the Lebanese capital. And we're going to bring in Elijah Manier. He's a military and security analyst joining us here in the studio. Great to have you with us. Elijah, I want to start with the military saying it's going to soon launch operations on Lebanon's southern coast. It's your understanding that this will be a naval operation.
It is going to be including a naval operation because this is the first time the Israeli announced that they are bringing in the Navy, which is unusual. Normally, when an army is invading a country, will not announce which forces are going to participate and from where. Here we have a clear indication that the Israelis are telling us they're going to send the Navy. Now, that has different layers behind it. First, why the Israelis will announce it, which means they want to test the ground and see if Hezbollah is going to start moving to prepare a surface-to-surface missile to hit the Navy, as they have done in 2006 when they hit the SAR-5 with their C-802 Chinese missiles. Secondly, they are indicating, in case Hezbollah doesn't react, then they are going to embark on the Lebanese coast, on the south of Lebanon, and then disembark the special forces that are Diet 13 to be engaged in the battle and try to surround Hezbollah by pushing also, not exclusively, because they can't allow the Navy to go on their own, but they will be supported by infantry and mechanic unit.
Okay, you say that they want to see if Hezbollah will deploy surface-to-surface missiles. Does Israel believe that it's destroyed a lot of Hezbollah's military capability? Is it trying to see how much of Hezbollah's military capability still stands?
Yes, it's a way to test if Hezbollah has these surface-to-surface missiles still, because Hezbollah has received from Syria the Ahund supersonic missile and from Iran the hypersonic missiles. Therefore, if Hezbollah has still these missiles, then will not hesitate to fire against the Navy when the Navy is within the reach of its missiles. Now, it's going to be according to the tactique that Hezbollah would use, perhaps it will wait, or perhaps it will fire immediately to push them, because so far we've seen the Hezbollah special forces in the south of Lebanon not really giving an easy time for the Israeli special forces and engaging with them for the last 5-6 days and trying to fight them and show that the front is not that easy to breach.
Yeah, it was never going to be easy for Israel in southern Lebanon. They went to war in 2006, and that ended in a stalemate, which many see as a victory, in fact, for Hezbollah. What is your assessment of the fighting on the border?
I think by seeing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying that he wants to change the face of the Middle East, and then...
But what does that mean, Elijah? Do we know what that means?
Yes, it is clear. It means after defeating Hezbollah, he would impose on Lebanon his rules and then move a second state to Syria. This is where the axis of the resistance needs to be defeated in his eyes, and he gave many signs and signals in his plans. However, he doubled down on the first clash with Hezbollah, saying, I want to free the prisoners in Gaza, and I want to deteriorate Hezbollah capability. So he's changing because he doesn't want to compromise on objective that he cannot fulfill, as it happened to him in Gaza.
Yeah, I heard one analyst say that the Israeli government and Netanyahu are under-promising with this ground operation in southern Lebanon to over-deliver. Do you think Netanyahu he really thinks that he can defeat Hezbollah, which, is known as the strongest non-state actor in the world?
That is true, but we have seen Netanyahu thinking in terms of his military capability. So he has a strong army, he has strong air force dominating the sky, and he has many tanks, and he has accumulated tens of thousands of forces after sabotaging the pager, moving on the side more than 3,000 fighters, dead and wounded, severely wounded, and then destroying the ICOM, and then killing the Secretary General, creating a chaos and confusion for several days. But following the hit of Hezbollah yesterday of 5 missiles, medium range on Haifa, we see a change in Hezbollah. We've seen a return to more controlled, and the command and control now is taking the lead. Communication are established, and they are thinking on a more strategic rather than tactical approach toward the Israeli invasion.
Elijah Manier, thank you so much for your expertise. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.